with practice. I think the guys are progressing and moving in the right direction. Got another difficult task this week in the Ravens. That offense is high volume, very explosive. Lamar Jackson is playing at that MVP level as he did a couple of years ago. All the weapons around him are exceeding. Odell is still playing high, and I love just watching Flowers and the things that he can do. It's going to be a difficult task. And with that, I'll take your questions.
Steve, what makes Lamar Jackson different and perhaps more difficult to defend than the other mobile quarterbacks you've seen the last couple of weeks?
I think just his ability to make guys miss in space. He's very elusive. And to be honest, I think he's playing so much better from a standpoint of the passing game as well, which I think creates other elements of his ability to be able to scramble when things aren't there. So he's really playing good football, not turning the ball over, which is a key for them. And again, we got to do a much better job than we did last week from a standpoint of tracking the ball carrier and, most importantly, tackling.
When you said, referring to your own team, the guys are progressing, what areas do you want to see them continue to get better?
Most definitely from what we did last week. I felt like we had too many missed tackles. Just what I just alluded to, I think it was more us and not executing our technique, not understanding where our help was coming from. You had a couple of times we had a situation where it could have been, really 4th and 9, and all of a sudden now we miss a tackle because we're not tracking the right way. It's 4th and 3, and they go for it. So just the little things like that we have to improve on, and that's the progression that I'm seeing this week.
I think we ask you about Charvarius every week, basically. But going back to when you got here, what was your assessment of what his skill set was, and in what ways has he maybe even exceeded that this year?
Well, I think it was high from what I saw, and that was the reason why John and Kyle, brought him over. I think he's now playing at that Pro Bowl, All-Pro, caliber level, and you saw that, and I've seen it all year. And you saw it definitely last week with his 2 picks. And the one thing that I pointed out this week, and I believe it was yesterday with the defense, I took that exact same clip that we had in practice, the exact same route, the exact same break. And what I always talk to those guys about is just how we practice. What you're doing in practice is going to be just a reflection of what you do in the game. And so he got that rep early. He made that play in practice, and it was just routine when it happened in the game.
He indicated that he had been working with Sam Darnold and catching balls from him. Was that something he came to on his own? It was suggested to him?
Yeah, most definitely. That's another area of his growth where, he gets, extra work in after practice. It was something that he went to Donald on his own to be able to get that assistance. So Sam did a great job last week in preparing him.
When you talk about that clip from practice, that was in preparation to face the Cardinals?
Yes.
Is that unique that something like that happens exactly like that?
It is, and a lot of times, in our teaching progression, we will always try to, show that for us plays back to back, and it was just very fortunate that we were able to get that exact clip.
Kyle was saying yesterday that their 2 linebackers, Smith and Queen, are pretty similar to what you've got in Warner and Greenlaw. I won't ask you to speak to their linebackers, but when you have 2 like you do that can cover that much ground, sideline to sideline, and be that athletic, what does that do for your defense in terms of what you can call and that sort of thing?
Well, it makes our defense so much better when you have that kind of speed, and I think that's really where the game is now. You play so much out in space where offenses try to spread you out and get you in those different looks. That's why the old school traditional Mike linebacker is not the case anymore. We look for 3 wheels that can play Mike and Sam. So their ability allows not only, me, but everybody around them to play better.
Is this kind of an example of 4 modern linebackers there too, and you two? I mean, what the position has evolved to?
I think it's going to showcase a lot of speed and talent on that field on Monday night. And, a lot of respect for those guys. I know of them coming out of the draft and just watching them, and cross, tape. But I definitely love the guys that we have, and I think, our guys are going to go out and perform well.
What makes the Ravens' run game so efficient, and what's the key to slowing it down?
Just really all the gap scheme, then the zone read, Lamar with his ability to be able to pull it at any time, so this is going to be a very disciplined football game. A lot of times you see talent on both sides of the ball, but it's a team that's real disciplined in their assignments. When you take the dive, take the dive. When you have a quarterback, have the quarterback, vice versa. So we got to do a great job communicating on every snap, and as we did today and yesterday, be very detailed in our assignments.
How particularly tricky is that for the nickelback, whether he's watching the quarterback and also has a pretty good slot receiver to chase around?
It's definitely a difficult task, and I think Demo is up for it, and we can't put everything on him. That's why, based off the call, you always have different assignments, and putting him in a situation to where, if he's part of the run game, he got to execute that, and then there's times where he's not a part of it, and he has to play pass first. So, again, I think it just goes back to being disciplined and executing your assignment.
Are you encouraged by what you saw from Hargrave today?
Yes, definitely encouraged, but, it's still, wait and see kind of thing. So, but I'm definitely encouraged about what I saw today.
How's Jason Brett coming along?
He's looking well each and every day. So we'll see whether or not he's going to have the opportunity to be up, and if so, how many reps he'll get.
Much is made of way the wide receivers here, block. When you look at other teams, is it unique? Or do you see other teams that have the same commitment to all 11 taking part in the run?
Well, I think it's extremely unique in how our guys block. I was very impressed with that when I first got here. We get a lot of good work going against those guys in OTAs and training camp. And, I talked to Debo one time, and I asked him about that. And his answer to me was, if we don't block, we don't get the ball, So I think, there's a certain culture that Kyle has created that it's not just about catching the football. It's, you can see it throughout this team, very unselfish individuals. And you go back to IU, on that play against Seattle, I believe it was, where, he went down there and made that block inside the 5. So just very unselfish play. And those guys prepare us for every game and every week. Appreciate you. Merry Christmas.